the Emperor. Now we have very strong energy coming in here. We have the King of Swords here. We have the Emperor here. Strong masculine energy. Don't get put off by that. You know, we all have divine masculine and feminine energy within each of us. And so with the Emperor coming up, he's the man in charge, right? The father figure, the boss, the authority figure. You might have someone like that who's central to your story this week. I was going to say month. I hope I haven't been saying month. It is a weekly that I'm doing. So when the Emperor shows up, he's telling you one of two things. Either one, he's saying that you're being very stubborn, which is not always a bad thing. Think about it. The Emperor, he has to be in charge. He has to be in control. He's always my way or the highway, and he has to be that way. Imagine if he, did things by committee and asked everyone their opinion. He wouldn't get anything done. He wouldn't have his empire for very long. So he's very much in charge, and he's like, we're going to do it this way. This is what I want. So the first one, it could be saying that, when you're that stubborn, if you're that much doing things how you've always done them, you're not going to be open to other ways of doing things, which might be better ways of doing things, that could work out better for you. The other message, if that's not you, is to step up and take control, is to be more like the Emperor. And that means, and I kind of feel like that is the answer here. I don't think for some of you, it might be that. I mean, we can be stubborn in lots of different ways. We could be sticking to our own truth, not acting on it. Like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be the one to be the first one to make the move or to say anything. It can be that, right? On the other hand, the Emperor can very much be, I'm going to take charge of this. I'm going to make a decision and I'm going to act on it. We're going to do things my way. No one's acting here. I'll do it. Now, the specific story that I saw, let me just say that first, because obviously it's a general reading that energies can play out in a number of ways. But the first one that I saw was, this is someone who's being very stubborn, who's either holding back or they're trying to control a situation. And a story comes to mind, and I don't remember where I kind of heard this story, but if you think about relationships, usually the louder person in a relationship is the one that's seen as having the control. The one that's the mouthy one, that one that says, oh, I want it this way and I want to do that, the other. But usually it is the quieter person that has the control in that relationship. Because, what if they just don't communicate? They're holding the power. If I don't like things, or if I'm done with it, I'm just not going to talk to you and give you the silent treatment, because you're not even open to communicating then, right? So there are different ways, remember that, to have control in a relationship. And the reason I'm saying that is we have the 3 of Cups and we have the 2 of Cups in the center here. I'll get to the 2 of Cups properly in a moment. But the very specific story that I'm seeing is this could be a friend's kind of situation that turns into more than friendship. Whatever that may be, whatever that connection is, but a deepening of some platonic relationship that you have, and it becomes more than that. So this could be the week where you could realize that. We have Venus retrograde, and I know a lot of people, I've been working with a lot of people that have already started to understand things. I mean, I've talked to people this week, in the past week, where they've started to have dreams of certain people who have been in their life for a while. It's like, oh my God, I'm having these kind of bizarre dreams about these people. So I don't know, that's coming through a lot. And this could be the week where you have a realization of that. But that's the specific thing that's coming through. Let's just carry on with the energies. So control, right? What about? So we have the 3 of Cups here. Now, this is a network of support. This could be friends, family members, whoever you love and support, and that love and supports you. It's coming up at the heart of your reading. So that's where the focus is. Do you feel like you don't have love and support? Or do you feel like you're in charge of the certain number of people? Like you're there, the Emperor, right? He brings order to a situation. Are you the one that's having to contribute and be in charge of this group? You're taking care of everyone. Who's taking care of you, Capricorn? Those kinds of questions can be raised when this comes up. Now, for some of you, there's someone that's friend zoned here. This is about relationships. This reading is about relationships. But please, when you hear relationships, do not just think boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, romantic. When you hear love, don't just think romance. These words have been reduced down to such basic meanings when they have much broader meanings. So remember that, especially in the general readings. Although for some of you, it is going to be romantic. It is going to be that kind of energy, but just have an open mind. It's about relationships, especially the ones that support you. And I think for some of you, it's very difficult to trust. I mean, I'm seeing here this kind of stern emperor, I'm in control, I'm in charge, I'm going to do things my way, has come from a place of deep, deep hurt. We have the Ten of Swords coming up as a past energy, and that's foundation. Remember, that could be last week, last month, last year. And the Ten of Swords, like, traditionally, it's the guy that's lying on the floor with 10 swords in his back, right? Here he doesn't have 10 swords in his back. And I love the Ten of Swords in this deck, actually, because I always see the Ten of Swords as the aftermath. I don't see it as when the difficult situation, and it is a very difficult situation. There's no way to sugarcoat this card, right? Usually it's 10 swords in a guy's back. I mean, how the hell do you sugarcoat that? The best that can be said about the Ten of Swords is that the worst is over. But the worst has happened. And, you know, we know who to trust now. We know who not to trust, because we know who stabbed us in the back in some cases. Or, you know, this can be our thoughts, our fears. Remember, swords are our thoughts, our ideas, and our beliefs. And when they're kind of spearing us and, you know, have us kind of almost held down on the ground with 10 swords in our back, or around, surrounding him here, imprisoning him almost. Those are our thoughts. Those are our fears that are imprisoning us. So this has a more of kind of 8 of Swords feeling to it, but it's the aftermath. It's happened. In the 8 of Swords, it's just beginning. You know, we're having those fears and doubts in our head. Here it's kind of played out. Whatever those fears, doubts were, whether they were your own or someone else's, they've played out already. And you're left here dealing with the aftermath of that. But have a look at this guy. And I always notice this. If you have a look at his hands, and this is just from how I can see it, he's holding his hands together behind his back. But he has these kind of bindings around his wrist. So it looks as though he's kind of bound, but he isn't. They're not actually attached to each other. Look, it's dangling down. Whatever that binding was, he's free. That's been cut. But he still holds the position that he's bound because he feels bound by the thoughts, the ideas, the fears, whatever happened, whatever words were said, whatever took place here. So the Ten of Swords, it's about moving on. It's about, you might be at rock bottom. You might have trust issues now, you know, something awful might have happened, but it's about moving on from there. So for some of you, it's about looking for that support, the love and support, that network of support to get you through. For some, you know, I can even see this as a group that you go to, of people that have survived a situation. You know, I've dealt with a narcissist. I survived an illness. I survived whatever was done, you know, an awful marriage, a person that had addictions, whatever it is. So it can be that with the Three of Cups here. For some people, the Three of Cups might be a reunion. And I don't mean with the person that did this. I mean, who's going to want to go back to someone that cut them down like that? Somebody might, but you know, that's not the energy that I'm seeing here. It's not about that. This week, it's about your own truth, coming to a place of your own truth, coming into your own power. And who do you allow to connect with that? Who do you allow into your space? Because if we have trust issues, we're not going to trust other people. But usually when we don't trust other people, it's not other people that we have a problem with. It's about trusting yourself. I mean, I go into shit all the time. Have I never been hurt? Have I never been cut down? I have, plenty of times. But the thing is, you learn, right? From each situation, you learn. And as you go forward, I don't have to keep people out. I still allow people in. I've just gotten better at knowing where my boundaries are and what my own truth is. And if people are not in line with that, I know who not to have in my life and who to have in my life. So it's always about trusting yourself. And I'm saying that because we have the King of Swords coming up in the present. And the King of Swords, love him. He's all about, he's the truth, right? His word is his oath. He will speak the truth. And he's all about the truth. He's someone who knows. You might be dealing, I mean, we have Aries here. This is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. But remember, the signs don't own the cards. They just lend their energies, characteristics to them. So I kind of feel like out of this situation, whatever it was, you've come to some knowing. You've come to some truth. And now that's very Queen of Swords energy. That's how the kings and queens differ. The Queen is very much, she's supportive. She'll listen to your truth, but you have to bring her your truth. But you go to the King of Swords as he's the advisor. King's always the advisor. So we have two rulers here. This is very empowering. This is stepping into your power. And I've talked about power a lot in other places, so I won't go into it too much here. But when you're in your power, it's not about showing other people your power. You just know you're in your power. You have the confidence to go forward. That's what the Magician is saying here as your advice. But you know your truth and you're going to speak your truth. He doesn't have a problem making decisions. He doesn't have a problem. He can be emotionally detached. That's the thing with him. He uses logic, thoughts, ideas. He's very good at communicating. So whenever I see one of the swords court cards, I know there's communication there. But I don't see the emotionally detached so much. Maybe that's where you have been, and that's what you're coming out of this week. Not with those cups. This is all about connecting with other people. Now, it may be that you go into something looking for support or whatever I said, the Three of Cups energy. Where does it lead? If you step into your truth, if you speak your truth, if you're not afraid to make decisions, if you go forward strong with your sword of truth, and remember, with the cycle, it goes from the ace to the 10. So you've completed the 10. That means you have a new perspective, you have a new truth, you have a new way of communicating. The implication is always that we've moved on to the Ace of Swords. You've gone one step further. You're the King of Swords now, holding your sword of truth. Where does that lead you? If you can step forward in your truth, knowing what you know from the experiences that you've had. You don't have to hide. You don't have to be controlled. You can speak it openly or be authentic to how you feel. It leads to this, a connection. Two of Cups. That's the energy that's coming in. Now, whenever the Two of Cups or anything like that comes out, especially that people that want relationships, one thing that I start to see in comments is, I hope that happens. And I want to say that to you, and it's something I'm big on, and I talk about it a lot on social media, in my Instagram posts. It's not about hope. We have faith in something. We have faith because we know. He knows. He is absolutely certain on what he knows. That's why he's an advisor. He's the lawyer, the consultant. People come to him for answers because he has knowledge. He doesn't guess. He doesn't hope. He doesn't wish. He knows. So this is about going from that place. Once you know, then you connect. Now, the beauty of the Two of Cups is two people whose cups match. And if you've watched any video of mine before where the Ace of Cups has come up, that's why I talk about the aces. The aces are always ours. That's why I always say, know what's in your cup. Know who you are. Know how you feel. Know how you want to feel. And go forward with a full cup. Because whoever you meet next, because this is the second step on that cycle, right? The ace to the 10, they're going to match your cup. And too often you find people with an empty cup trying to hold their cup forward, say, fill my cup. But what you're going to attract is someone whose cup matches yours. So if you have an empty cup, you'll meet someone who has an empty cup. You don't have anything to give each other. Whereas if you have full cups, you share that energy, the emotion of the cups. Now, that's not to put down the Two of Cups. I think the Two of Cups is an amazing energy. We all live for these kinds of connections. People that just get us. People that just, there are people, right? We're on the same page. Whether it's a friend, a lover, romantically someone that you're interested in, a business partner, a work colleague, and people don't like it when I say that, when I bring it into the work arena. But have you ever worked with anyone who just knows? You don't have to talk. You're just on the same. You feel like you've known each other forever. I'm very blessed. I've happened to know people like that. But this is a profound connection. Now, it might come out of this, someone that you already know as a friend. And it's an even deeper connection that you get into. Or, you're in a group. This might be a group setting. And out of that, one person has your back fully. But the thing with the Two of Cups, though, is it's the free will of both people involved that takes it forward. That's the thing with the Two of Cups, because we're only at step 2. And the thing that most people do is they get to the Two of Cups and they think, oh my God, this is my person. But two people can feel the same thing and have very different responses to it. So one person might think, wow, this is my person. I want to be with this person forever. And the other person, even though they both feel the same emotions in the cups, the other person might, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed by this. What am I doing? And they can feel a little bit overwhelmed and need a little bit longer to understand the emotions and to work with them. So always bear that in mind. Just because two people feel the same way doesn't mean they behave in the same way. But we can never, and that's kind of what's coming up here, we can never control what they're feeling. And even if we know, even if they say, I'm feeling like this, it doesn't tell us how they're going to act from that. But this is not about that. This is about you speaking your truth. It's about you coming forward and saying where you are. This is my decision. This is what I would like. This is how I feel. And that's why your advice is the Magician. This is a card of confidence. Now, have a look at the Magician. So the Magician sits underneath the Ten of Swords. And so whatever you went through here, like I said, whether it was last week, last month, last year, 3 years ago, whatever. You know, it's taught you so much, because that's what the magician says. The magician says to you, you have the knowledge and you have the tools that you need to get this done. Do you have the confidence to use what you know, what you learned from this? And for some people, I'm just going to straight up say it. The answer is no. The answer is no. It's like, I'm still bound by this. I don't want this. You know, and my new truth is that I don't want to connect with anyone. I'm happy just to be friends. I don't want to take it there. But some of you will take it there. Some of you will go to the Two of Cups. This is not a foregone conclusion. We write the future from where we are right now. So it's going to depend very much on your truth, but you have everything. The magician tells you that. The emperor tells you that. It's how you use that power, how you use your energy. And the most empowered ones will go forward confidently here, and speak their truth. That's the card for Mercury. It's about communication. I kind of get the sense that for those of you that specific kind of story, you guys connect because you've been through the same trauma. You've both been through the same kind of thing. Like, you know, I don't know, you might meet in a forum or something, right? Where, I don't know, survivors of whatever, or you're interested in learning more about this or whatever. It's that. I feel like there's a shared knowledge, a shared experience here. That's what deepens this connection. But it kind of feels like it's through this. Now, it doesn't have to be romantic. Remember that I said with the Two of Cups. This might be because you might be the boss, right? You might be the boss with the Emperor. Or at work, you're very controlled. Go in, do my work, come out. Because maybe you dated someone from work before, or, you know, you were friends with someone and it turned out bad, or your team, and you've always kept it very professional. Those two, that energy there. No emotions involved. But there's emotions coming in here. This might be drinks after work. This might be networking with clients. In which case, it's still telling you the same thing. You can have a profound connection with someone, which can go forward, but through confidence of what you're saying, of what you're doing, what you know.